I mean, I think we gotta accept. I mean, we're doing our job. Well, if I do accept, at least I can prove that I am the better dancer than Ra. Besides, I'm supposed to be listening to Emily, no matter how absurd her requests are, if that is what you want. Really? Emmeline rushes up to me and takes my hand in hers. Thank you, Z. I thought it might be an awkward request, but I'm so happy you've agreed to this. I turn to look at Rod, who is glowering at me. I'm not dancing with her. She might step on my feet. Emmeline gives him a disapproving look. Rod, please? Rod eyes me warily. I step toward him and offer my hand. Shall we? Rod scowls at me for a few moments before finally taking my hand. I put my hand on his shoulder and he places his hand on the small of my back. Rod looks at me but quickly averts his gaze. Is something wrong? I didn't think I would ever have to dance with you is all. Neither did I. Rod looks at me again. This time he has an uncomfortable scowl on his face. He's not the only uncomfortable one here. We both start dancing and I mentally start counting the steps. It has been a long time since I last danced with anyone, but the steps come to me naturally. The dance is rather simple. When Rod and I move stiffly, I cannot help but notice his careful footwork. I realize that Rod really is a pretty decent dancer. Of course, I would never openly admit that. When we stop, I hear Emmeline clapping her hands as she looks at the both of us in awe. You really are a good dancer. Thank you so much for showing me the steps. Now I know for sure what to do during that part. I just shrug at her before stepping back into the corner. Emmeline takes her position in front of Rod once more. This time she has a bright smile on her face. I cannot believe something as simple as that has made her so happy. At the end of the day, Emmeline has managed to do the steps correctly. She tells me many times how grateful she is for the help. After practice, I return to my room and retire to bed. I think about how happy Emmeline was. How can such small things make a person so happy? You stepped out of rhythm again, Z. But Mother, this is really hard. A princess never complains. You must perfect this waltz by tomorrow, otherwise I will not allow you to play with your dolls for the day. But if you have time for objections, you have time to push yourself harder. Now once again from the top. I guess we're on that path, yeah. The following days are uneventful. Emmeline continues her dance lessons with Rod. Her steps are still far from perfect, but I can tell that she has improved since my demonstration with Rod. Meanwhile, Rod still chooses to ignore me most of the time, though I have noticed that he is less cold than usual. At least he does not snap at me for no good reason anymore. Though Delora is no longer assisting me, she insists on staying in my room more often. She says that there is something important she wants to investigate, and I cannot even guess what it might be. I prefer not having her around anyways. Her constant chattering makes it difficult to focus on anything. Right now, I'm still trying to figure out how I can achieve my first good deed. I'm surprised that thing that we did yesterday for her didn't count as a good deed. Almost 3 months have passed since I was first cursed, but I have yet to complete my first good deed. These are my thoughts as I head back to my sleeping quarters after dinner that night. Emmeline excused me long ago, insisting that I go on to my own room before she went to hers. I'm walking down the hallway when I notice Rod heading down a familiar path. I follow after him. Are you going to the march-in? Rod jumps and turns around. The surprise in his face quickly fades into annoyance. Don't do that again. And no, not today. Since I came here, I found out that Rod occasionally sneaks out of the palace at night through the secret passageway to go to the march-in. Even now, I am still confused as to why he goes there. He said before that he had given up on breaking his curse, which makes me wonder why he still visits. He also makes me wonder why he would refuse to break his curse in the first place. Is it okay being the way that he is, or is his curse really just difficult to break? Why were you cursed, Rod? I'm not answering that question. Why? I cannot help you break your curse if you refuse to tell me anything. I told you before that I do not need your help. But I chose you as my partner, you helped me, and I helped you. It is highly likely that breaking Rod's curse will also count for a good deed. Rod scowls at me and crosses his arms. I'm afraid that this is how this works at all. The sound of footsteps keeps me from coming back with a retort. We both turn to see Sir Alcaster approaching us. Prince Rod, good evening. Good evening, Sir Alcaster. Sir Alcaster turns to me and raises an eyebrow. Shouldn't you be attending to Princess Emmeline? Rod silences me for a look. He moves to stand in front of me, shielding me from Sir Alcaster's gaze. We're just about to go to her. Let's go, Z. Rod strides away, and I quickly curtsy to Sir Alcaster before following after Rod. I can still feel Sir Alcaster's eyes on my back as I walk away. I try my best to suppress a shudder. He definitely knows, right? Like, are they not going to confirm that? Rod and I walk through the hallway in silence. We both stop in our tracks when we hear the clattering of silverware. I look around and realize that the sound has come from behind a set of doors that is slightly open. The dining hall. Oh no! That's Emmeline's voice. We do not see Emmeline when we enter the room, but there is a dizzying array of cutlery set out on the table. Emmeline? Emmeline surprises both of us by crawling out from beneath the table. She flashes us an embarrassed smile as she gets to her feet, holding several forks and knives in her hands. What are you doing here? You shouldn't be getting ready. You should be getting ready for bed. Sorry. I eye the silverware on the table. I thought I could practice before I sleep today. It has already been an incredibly long day for her, and she's still doing this. I watch as Emmeline puts the cutlery back onto the table in the wrong places. You need to rest, Em. I will after I practice the placements one last time. She smiles at him before returning to the table. I don't know why a person would need so much cutlery. One fork, one spoon, and one knife should be more than enough for any meal. And all these glasses, if I recall correctly, this one is for water, this one is for red wine, and this one is for white wine. Give her the correct answers or point out a mistake. I mean, isn't that kind of the same thing? I'm not sure what the nice option is there, honestly, because I don't know which way on. Point out her mistakes or give her the correct answer. I'm gonna save there just because I'm curious what either reaction is, because my first thought was point out her mistake, but I feel like that's the bad thing. I kind of just want to go with it. Either one seems bad to me, honestly, but also in a good way. Point out her mistake. She cannot remember something so basic. Wrong. What? I point out each of the glasses and name them in turn. Champagne, sherry, dessert, wine, and juice. It is basic etiquette to know all of them. Emmeline looks down at the glass, flustered. You don't have to be so blunt, Z. She's right, though. It's my fault for always forgetting. You know so much about etiquette, too. You're really incredible, Z. You make a better noble woman than I do. I think that was the wrong move. Wait, no, I don't want to overwrite it. Give her the correct answers. The flute is for the champagne, the other is for sherry. Oh, right! But there are two more. The other is for juice, and the other glass is for dessert wine. The dessert wine glass will always be used during the dessert course, and the juice glass is only used when juice is being served as a course. Otherwise, it is placed next to the water goblet. I see. I see Rod staring at me out of the corner of his eyes. His lips twitch before he turns back to his sister. It looks like he was about to smile. There we go. Okay, so that means we did the right thing. Okay. Then what are these for? Emmeline points out the group of forks in front of her. You use those forks. You use those every day, Your Highness. You should know the answer. Emmeline points at them as she rattles off names. Dinner fork, fish fork, salad. Correct. You know so much about etiquette, too. You're really incredible, Z. You make a better noble woman than I do. Even if I told her I was noble, it's not as if she would believe me. I just read a lot about all of these things. You read enough to put them into practice? That's amazing. Especially since you haven't even been with us so long, right, Rod? Rod shrugs. He does not, much to my surprise, disagree. Perhaps you should be my teacher, Z. I can learn so quickly from you. Emmeline quickly straightens out the cutlery. Now that I think about it, I've come to realize that Emmeline is much more than she appeared to be. It is probably because I'm forced to spend so much time with her as her maid. She is different. She is flawed, and not as conceited and more humble than I had originally thought. Maybe I should try lending her a hand. I may not be one of your tutors, but if you need help with your lessons, just ask me, and I will do what I can for you. See? I glance at Rod, who is once again wearing that expression of surprise. I shift my attention to Emmeline once again. I only have 1 month left to prepare, and as your personal maid, I feel it is my responsibility to help in whatever ways I can. See? Emily wipes her eyes with the back of her hand, and that's when I notice something glistening on her cheek. Is she crying? You're extremely kind, Z. Thank you. I will definitely take you up on that offer. I'm still looking at Emily when I catch a faint glow coming from the pendant on my chest. Let's go! Let's go! What just happened? Oh, what a pretty necklace you have, Z. Thank you. Anyway, for now, I think the both of us would benefit from some sleep. We did it! After escorting Emmeline back to her room, I walk out into the hallway in the daze. What was that light? Seems like you actually managed to obtain your first good deed. What? I did not know he was still there. I look down at my pendant, astonished at what I see. There we go! We got the heel! Piece of the glass slipper. I gingerly touch the new piece that is hanging next to my existing glass slipper pendant. It is real. Not too bad after all. Did he just compliment me? What? Rod turns away. Nothing. He walks away, leaving me alone with my thoughts. We did it! New chapter? Yep. Chapter 5. Secrets. This is actually going to be a lot quicker than I thought it would. I thought it would take forever. Good morning, Your Highness. Would you like to play with us? You want to play with me? Yeah, come play with us. We'll all have lots of fun. Well, please, just for a little while. Maybe I can... Z, what are you doing in front of the gates? Mother? Good morning, Your Majesty. We were just wondering if the princess wants to come play with us. No, Princess Z does not want to play with you. But Mother, I do. Enough idle chatter. We must go. It's almost time for your dance lessons. But... Z, do not make me repeat myself. Yes, Mother. It is still dawn when I wake up. As much as I want to continue sleeping, I have no choice but to get up and prepare for the day. The last thing I need is an annoying lecture from the head maid. I am almost accustomed to waking up this early, even if I do not enjoy it. As soon as my preparations are made, I begin to make my way toward Emmeline's room, should we wake early. I'm about halfway there when I hear familiar voices, standing far ahead of me at Sir Alcaster's and Sir Mithras. Are you sure this is going to work? A lot of faith in me, my friend. Friends, we are not friends. Sir Alcaster narrows his eyes and turns abruptly to look at me. Miss Z, was it? Sir Mithras, Sir Alcaster. Have you been eavesdropping, child? He has no reason to be angry at me. If they were talking about something confidential, they should not have been openly talking in the hallway. I'm on my way to Princess Emmeline's room, sir. This is why I'm here. I coolly look at Mr. Alcaster, who looks like he's about to pop a vein. I cannot help but feel satisfied at his reaction. Just a few steps, he's suddenly looming over me. I've never seen Sir Alcaster look so angry before. What is going on? Rod is now walking toward us with a scowl on his face. Sir Alcaster notices and quickly steps back. There was just a little misunderstanding, Your Highness. Rod glances at me and his narrows narrowing. Great, I'm sure he is going to blame me for this too, even though I did nothing. Let's go, he's defending us. Much to my surprise, Rod puts himself between me and Sir Alcaster. Are you alright, Z? He's worried about me? He sure is. It's kind of weird, not gonna lie. I slowly nod. Rod turns back to Sir Alcaster and Sir Mithras. If you don't have any business with me, I will be taking her with me. Emmeline is ready waiting for her. Sir Alcaster stares at me for a few moments before bowing down to Rod. Of course, Your Highness. Thank you. Rod turns to me again, his expression solemn. Shall we? We walk off before waiting for my reply. He walks off before waiting for my reply. I look back at Sir Alcaster, Sir Mithras one last time before chasing after him. Both of us spend the next few minutes walking in silence. Rod has not said a thing since my encounter with Sir Mithras and Sir Alcaster. Are you okay? What? He already asked me that before. Is he really that worried? I'm fine. I'm surprised by the look on Rod's face at my response. His expression is soft, so unlike his usual scowl. Rod here is pretty worried about you, princess. Oh, call him out, Sebi! Rod glares at Sebi, his cheeks tinted pink. Sebi chuckles. Sorry, Rod, your thoughts ring so loudly in your mind that I can't help but say them out loud. What was that? This is not the first time. Oh, First time Sebi has told me about what Rod is thinking. Rod reaches out and pinches Sebi's face, his scowl returning. Ow, I'm sorry, okay. Next time, try not to think too loudly. You said that Emmeline was waiting for me? I did not expect her to be up so early. Where is she? I lied. What? He lied to help me out of that situation? Why are you helping me? Because while you're here, you're my responsibility. I may load the role, but I'll still uphold it. Besides, you don't need a reason to help someone in need. Help someone in need. I remember Parfait and Delora telling me before that being good often involves helping others who are in need. Now that I've helped you, I'll be taking my leave now. I have fencing lessons to attend. Such an Asian aggressive character. Rod starts to walk off, but then he stops and turns back to me. Don't get yourself into more trouble. I won't be there all the time to save you. I glare at him and cross my arms. I'm not some damsel in distress, your highness. I do not need your help. Rod snores before turning away from me and walking away.
1 a.m., eyes closed, I'm slowly falling to the music and the atmosphere. Now I